Greetings everyone and welcome back to the Business of Entertainment channel. I'm the CEO of the Opulent Entertainment Group, as you already know, Denim Richards, and I am with a phenomenal guest, but I'm not going to do the introduction because I wasn't the one that was doing the directing of him. So to do that, we're going to have a phenomenal director, which you guys probably already know because he's also the chairman of the Opulent Entertainment Group.
Hey, how's everybody? Thank you, Denim. Welcome to the Business of Entertainment channel. And here we are going to be chatting with Bonko Khoza, who obviously was on Heart of the Hunter. And to facilitate this discussion is obviously the phenomenal Mr. Denim Richards.
So obviously you guys know on our channel, we talk about the business of entertainment. So we're going to be talking a lot about Heart of the Hunter because obviously Mandla directed it and then Bonko starred in it. So we're going to talk about Heart of the Hunter. We're going to talk about some of the action sequences, but we're also going to talk about some of the business in and around that. So I think this is going to be a phenomenal conversation. Make sure you like, share, and subscribe. Tell your friends wherever you're watching this. We're super excited. So Bonko, thanks for being here, brother.
Thank you for having me, gents. Thank you.
Thanks for making it.
Yeah.
So let's just dive into it, right? So I think starting first and foremost, Heart of the Hunter. How did it come to you? Obviously, like I said, I think I told you a little bit off screen. We talk a lot about the business side of it. Not as much about the acting, but what for the business side of it, obviously it's a Dion Mayer project. So for those that don't know, Dion Mayer is a published author who has sold millions of books all over the world. So when you got the opportunity for this project, what were some of the things that you were thinking about, like opportunities-wise, or were you mainly just focused on the acting side?
Yeah, mostly just on the acting side. It was really a divine moment. Because Mandla and I met, it was about 2 years ago. I was taking a friend of mine out for a birthday breakfast at a restaurant, and we walked past Mandla. I hadn't known him at the time, you know. We walked past Mandla sitting at a bookstore, reading books, and, you know, kind of my friend nudged me, a mutual friend of mine and Mandla's nudged me. He's like, hey, that's Mandla Dube. He's the director of Silverton Siege. And we kind of walked past him and we backtracked. He was like, no ways, I'm going to introduce you. I don't know. I think I had a bit of a buzz at the time. And I think she did the math. I'm like, listen, if I link this guy and this guy, something cool would come out of it. And she introduced us. We walked back to Mandla. Hey, Mandla and Bonko. Hey, I'm Mandla. And crazy enough, Mandla then says, yeah, you're Bonko. My son wanted me to
know you, introduce you.
Yeah, it's for you to be my next film. Right? And I'm like, oh, great. Me and your son can really get along. If that's his thinking. Yeah, you got a smart son. And yeah, man, we connected then. He's like, listen, I've got this film. Check it out, read the script. And yeah, the rest is history, really, man. The rest is really history.
So now that, you know, doing Heart of the Hunter, and of course I'll let you get in. Doing Heart of the Hunter, when you guys got to set, did you have any thought process about what the success was going to be, or were you kind of just happy to be on a project that was, you know, it's a Netflix project, but you know, I think as actors, oftentimes people are like, we're just happy to be on set. And there's other ones that are thinking like, man, how big could this be? When you're on a motorcycle, right, which was BMW, by the way. You know, you have helicopters, you have all these crazy things that are going on. Did you kind of get a sense of that when you were looking at the script? And then how different was that when you actually were reading the script as opposed to when you actually got on set?
So, bro, here's the trick, right? It's a business of creatives, right? It's the business of entertainment. You first and foremost, to be part of the business, have to be creative. And the creative process on its own is not a calculative process. So you can't, and I say this to any artist in the game right now, trying to achieve what you guys have achieved or the little I have achieved, you can't calculate the success that comes from you do what you do. I think the success comes from you immersing yourself into the creative process and in fact, the contrary, having no idea what's going to happen after the fact, right? Because when you are too concerned about things outside of, let's say, for an actor, your character, you do the film itself an injustice. Because at the end of the day, the film is a story about human beings. And the business is really connecting with other human beings through a medium, which is film. That's the success. So you have reps to do that for you. You've got managers, you've got agents. They'll do all that stuff for you and calculate from an objective point of view your trajectory of your career and your success and tally it up for you at the end of the year. And they'll let you know what project works later.
They sure will.
Yeah. That's why
You just got to do the creative.
you have to be a creative, dude. I'm an actor, and I've come to a position where I have managers and other talented people in their specific industries have to join me on this journey, but they also understand that I'm the actor, and I can't for too long immerse myself in things that have got nothing to do with acting.
I think the follow-up for that is like, so from your perspective of directing, like talk about a little bit about the importance of having somebody like a Bonko that I would say you're a grown-up, right? So there's certain conversations that one doesn't have to be had. You don't really probably have to talk about professionalism and especially because, when you're a lead on a project, right, you essentially you're like the LeBron James for the Lakers, right? Like the way you're also setting the tone, the director and the number one, number two, you really set the tone for a show or a movie and things of that nature. And, with Netflix and kind of with what this action was, like this was breaking a lot of these molds now, right? There's action sequences, it's local, local talents and things of that nature. So talk a little bit about, from Heart of the Hunter's perspective as a director that has to flip back and forth because you have to direct, but you have to do the personal thing. And then when that's done, you're doing the business side, looking at dailies, talking with producers, talking to Netflix. Like talk a little bit about that experience.
Well, I had one of my mentors said to me, what has happened in as far as the creative process is concerned in the business is that it has become 60% politics. Yeah. Maybe it's 70 now. and it is 40%, creative. And, nothing is far from the truth on that because you're managing this engine, this machine that's moving, that's going forward, and you've got to be creative. You've got to make sure that you don't, rock the boat to where this boat can end up capsizing. Right. But you got to keep it, it's going too far. So working with Bonko was great in the sense that when we clicked, when we had our first interaction and discussion, rehearsals, and actually the day that I gave him the script, I said, all right, listen, I don't know you, never worked with you before, but you come highly recommended by my son, right? Yeah. So, and I'm gonna listen to him, right? I'm gonna listen to him, and here's a script. Read it. I sent him on WhatsApp the script, and I think by the time he got to the car, he had responded. I got the script. I'm gonna start reading it today. I'm like, okay, that's good. Please, let's hit the gym, right? Talking about the business, branding, making sure that you look in alignment. Yeah. I said, please hit the gym, whatever you do. I kid you not, a week later, I finished reading the script and he sent me a photo of him in front of this, says, without his shirt on, it's like, okay, watch. In 6 weeks' time, I think he said, you're going to start seeing a transformation. And I said to him, this guy is dedicated, right? And again, you have to manage that. Yeah. And I had to manage the issue of Netflix. Yeah. Who's this guy, Mandla? This guy's never been a lead in a movie. Why? The producers, they have their own guys. Everyone has their brief. No, we want to this and say, okay, fine. Oh, who's directing? You want to come and direct? You can come and direct. But Now, right, let me do what I know how to do best.
last time I checked,
And I've
this
got
is
the
the-
last time I checked, and then on top of that, I've got to answer to these guys who are putting the money in,
Right.
who are trusting us on the ground that we can bank on this guy, on the success of Silverton Siege. So I had to step up my game as well, and I learned a lot.
And making sure that you're advocating, right?
Yeah, I was like, I'm fighting for this guy.
And so I think for you guys that are watching, wherever you're watching, I think there's a couple key points that we really want to make sure that we overstand in this, which is in the production world, there's more than just one or two entities. There's producers that have their own people that they really like. There's directors that have their own people that they really like, which is normal. Because look, let's just keep it grade A. When you're working on a set, oftentimes these are 16-hour days, 15, 16-hour days. It can be for 1 month, 2 months, or 6 months. So if I'm working with a director's working with me, and we have a great relationship, and there's another project that I can fit into, of course we're gonna wanna work together because I already trust this person. So this whole notion that they want like all these new people all the time, it's still, like Bonko was even talking about, it's still a relationship, it's still a human to human kind of interaction, right? Every single day. So there's certain things that don't quantify on paper. And oftentimes a lot of these networks, especially that are here in Africa, they never come to Africa, right? So they're sitting somewhere, you know, in the US or in Europe or wherever they may be, making decisions on the ground of Africa, telling you what's good, what's best, right? What's best for that ecosystem, and they've never been here. And so I think it really takes people like yourself, Mandla, to be able to really advocate and say, look, I'm directing this. My name is also on the line. I've already tested this. I'm sure that you pushed a little bit more with Heart of the Hunter than you probably did with Silverton Siege, right? Because one is like an introduction. The other one's like, okay, I'm here.
Here's the thing. The actor has to get on a motorcycle. He leaves Cape Town on a motorcycle. He goes to, in the original story, I think he goes to Botswana, but in the script, he goes to Lesotho.
Yeah.
And then he comes and back. He was supposed to come back with that bike. And I said, hell no.
Yeah.
We're not gonna do that. He's gonna that bike is gonna go. It's gonna end somewhere, and he's gotta find another way to get back here. Why? Because it's gonna push him as a character. It's pressure. The more pressure you put on the character, the more you'll see the quality of that character, as, you know, what the actor can bring out. You know, oh my God, he didn't make it. He has, the fucking helicopter. Oh, he's bleeding when he comes out. Oh, so that
More to fight through.
Yeah, exactly. More to fight through. Just put obstacles in front of him.
How do you like that as an actor, especially with this type of project?
Let me just finish that. So when you put those kind of obstacles, and then now he's airborne, right? Now we're talking about business, right? So that's scaling, that's standards, right?
Right.
What? This guy's on a helicopter in a film in Africa? What the hell, right? What are you doing, right? And then again, what that does is that it from a brand alignment, you know, with regards to for the audience at home, it said we gotta keep pushing that we can do these things here. It doesn't have to be a Hollywood kind of thing, or there's helicopters here.
There's helicopter pilots in Africa.
You know what I mean? So Bonko was able to step up, and he showed the real deal of who he is. It was just another day at work for him, right? And that came from that day that we met at the bookstore, and I said work because I'm gonna push.
So what does that feel like when you have a director who's, also as a producer, really be advocating and wanting to see, there's a lot of people that just want to kind of get through the project so that they themselves can just make the money and however the project looks, whatever. I have 15 other projects that I'll be doing and no one will probably watch this one. But to have a director like Mandla that's constantly saying, helicopters and BMW motorcycles and things of that nature. What does it feel like to be able to kind of work in that type of an environment with somebody that you know is wanting the best for you and wanting to push you so that you're being represented in a very high quality, I would say international star type of look?
Yeah, there's so many different pods, within the film itself, and oftentimes, directors, producers, filmmakers on the back end, you must remember that Mandla sent me a script that was done already. So in my eyes, when I received this job, like that's the film, right? So I'm often not privy to the ambitions of the film, and I mean, I'm learning this now. I thought that was your guys' ideas, but there's obviously a reason behind the ideas. And for me as an actor, in my little part in the film, I've always just wanted to do good work, and I've always strived to push the envelope in everything that I do, in choosing the jobs that I do, and I think I've manifested in one way or another cool things, whether I find them or whether they find me. And that could be part of the reason why we got along. I mean, even just that moment, right? If we look at it from a business or from a universe perspective, it was like I was having a lunch with someone trying to create a relationship that's going to move my life or career forward, and then that puts you in a certain sphere of people, like, right? So you do certain things that land you up in spaces where you can bump into Mandla.
Yeah, where opportunities can happen.
You understand?
Yeah.
So if anything, from an actor's point of view, in terms of a business, it's pretty much that, right? It's like making the relationships, and I often call myself a filmmaker more than an actor because I strive to understand the business and what really makes the business churn and what is the DNA of the business. And as you guys have said now, it's really about the relationships. So whether you actively making the relationship that you're going to shoot a movie 10 years later, or you make the relationship in a film you're shooting right now, it's about really creating a space or cultivating a space that always inspires you, pushes you forward. And as you're saying, I mean, that's what you were doing with the film when you put in the helicopter. But to bring it back, I read the script with a helicopter in it.
Already in there.
Already in there. So I'm like, okay, fuck, this is a cool movie. And whatever links. Yeah, exactly. So whatever links I got to go to bring that,
Be a part of that.
to be a part of that, then I'm going to do that, right?
Yeah.